Hi, welcome to the vlog today. Hope you're well and enjoying your driving. So today we're going to be talking about the safety questions which you're going to be asked during your test. There are the show me questions and the tell me questions that the DVSA have put together to help you be safe on the roads when you're driving around independently. So you'll be asked one show me question and one tell me question on your driving test. Okay, so we're going to first of all go through the questions which are related to the safety and the understanding of how your car runs. So these are called the tell me questions, and you will be asked one of these as you're walking over to the car. So let's go through them. Tell me how you check that the brakes are working before starting a journey. Brakes should not feel spongy or slack. Brakes should be tested as you set off. Vehicles should not pull to one side. Tell me where you'd find the information for the recommended tyre pressures for this car and how tyre pressures should be checked. In the manufacturer's guide, use a reliable pressure gauge, check and adjust the pressures when tyres are cold. Don't forget the spare tyre, remember to refit the valve caps. So as you can see, the manufacturer's guide is on the side of my car here, but you can find it in the door well, which is what I'm showing here. So a reliable pressure gauge basically is your local garage where you'd find a pump there, or a personal tyre pump which you keep in the back of your car like I do. And as you can see, I'm just taking off the valve here, and I'm going to reattach the dust caps after I've taken that off. Tell me how you make sure your head restraint is correctly adjusted so it provides the best protection in the event of a crash. The head restraint should be adjusted so the rigid part of the head restraint is at least as high as the eye at the top of the ears and as close to the back of your head as comfortable. Note some restraints might not be adjustable. As you can see, mine is. It's got a little button on the side. Push that in and you can then move it up and down. Yours might just have a little clip just above the back of the seat. Tell me how you check the tyres to ensure they have sufficient tread depth and their general condition is safe to use on the roads. No cuts and bulges, 1.6mm of tread depth across the central 3/4 of the breadth of the tyre and around the outer circumference. So here is the 3/4 of the tyre, and the tread depth is those grooves in the tyre there that you can see, and the outside is where you see the cuts and bulges if there were any. And I'll go through full tyre descriptions etc. in another video which I'll be doing. Tell me how you check that the headlights and tail lights are working. You don't have to exit the vehicle. Explain where the switch is in the car and explain that you have to turn the ignition on to actually see the lights. As you can see, mine is the right hand button here just under the air vent, and when you look at the dashboard it tells you that the lights are on. Tell me how you know there was a problem with the anti-lock braking system. Warning lights should illuminate if there is a fault with the anti-lock braking system, and it will remain illuminated as you drive off. Tell me how you check the direction indicators are working. You don't need to exit the vehicle. For this one, all you need to basically do is put the hazard lights on, which are in the centre of the dashboard, as you can see just here. That puts all of the indicators on at once. So as you can see on my dashboard here, they're all on, and just have a look around the car yourself. So just get out and have a physical look around. Just also to add to that, you can actually just put one indicator on, have a look around, and then put the other indicator and have a look around on that one too. Tell me how you check the brake lights are working on this car. Okay, so what you're going to do here is push down on the pedal, make use of reflections in windows or doors, or ask someone to look for you. Tell me how you check the power assisted steering is working before starting a journey. If the steering becomes heavy, the system may not be working properly. Before starting a journey, two simple checks can be made. Gentle pressure on the steering wheel maintained while the engine is started should result in slight but noticeable movement as the system begins to operate. Alternatively, turning the steering wheel just after moving off would give an immediate indication that the power assistance is functioning. I think a slightly easier explanation of this would be to say if you're setting off, just move the steering wheel left to right, and if it is very heavy, the power assisted steering is not functioning. Tell me how you switch on the rear fog light and explain when you use them. Okay, so my fog light is just beside the dipped headlight, so you can see there's a rear and a front one here, and you would use them when visibility is under 100 metres. Tell me how you switch your headlight from dip to main beam and explain how you know the main beam is on. Okay, so you're going to switch on the ignition, and your indicator stick you're going to push away from you, which will pop on the main beam, and when you do that you're going to see a blue light, as you can see I'm doing it here. And to turn the main beam back off again, you're going to pull that stick towards you again, as I'm doing here. The last three questions are under the bonnet questions, so I'm just going to show you how to open the bonnet of my car. All bonnets are different, so mine you have to open the driver's side door, and as you can see there's a lever. You're going to pull the bottom of the lever, it's going to come towards you, and when you do that you're going to hear the bonnet pop. Once you've pulled the lever inside the car, there is also a safety feature under the bonnet with a second lever. So mine is just above the second O of the Audi. You can see there's a lever there. You're just going to push that over to the left. While you're doing that, you're going to hold the bonnet with your left hand and then push it up. Most bonnets don't hold up themselves. There will be a stick just inside the bonnet which you unclip, and then there's a hook on the end which you will put into the hole provided. Open the bonnet and tell me how you check that the engine has sufficient oil. Okay, so when it comes to your test, all you have to do is basically explain what you're just about to see. So you identify where the dipstick is, you're going to pull that out, you're going to then clean it with a rag, and then you're going to put the dipstick back into the engine via where you brought it out. That then dips into the oil. You're going to bring that back out again in a moment, and then you're going to see there's two notches at the bottom, a minimum and maximum line. It needs to be between those lines, and then once you've checked that and it's all good, you're going to pop the dipstick back where it came out of and click it into place. If however you do need to top it up, you can see there's a cap with an oil can on it. You're going to top it up on there. As I say, you don't have to physically do this on your test, just explain. Open the bonnet and tell me how you check that the engine has sufficient engine coolant. Okay, so you just basically need to find the bottle and where it is on your car. For my car, it's on the left hand side. As you can see, it's a white bottle with a black lid which has a thermometer on it, and on the side there is a minimum line. You just need to identify that to the examiner. Open the bonnet and tell me how you check that you have a safe level of hydraulic brake fluid. Okay, so the brake fluid is at the back of the engine to the left, near where you're sitting where the brakes are, and the way you would check the levels on this would be on the side. There is a minimum and a maximum level on the side of the bottle. It's quite easy to see. Okay, now we just need to close the bonnet, so we just need to do everything in reverse of what you did earlier, opening it. So you're going to take the hook out of the hole, you're going to pop that back into the clip which is just beside the front of the engine here. Make sure it does click into place because you don't want that to rattle around inside the bonnet, and then bring the bonnet down to about 10 inches and then just drop it, and you just need to make sure it's definitely in place before you start the engine and start driving off. You don't want that to be rattling around. So we're now going to go through the show me questions. Now you're going to be again asked one of these as you're driving around. What I would say about these is just watch your speed and your positioning, because these are the questions that it is possible to fail your test on. So the tell me questions are the ones that we've just done, which are the ones that are safety questions about the car, but they are not driving around. So really, if you get a question wrong, you're not going to be unsafe and you're not going to be dangerous. You'd get a driving fault for that. However, for a show me question, if you get your positioning wrong, or if you go over the speed limit while you're pressing that button or you using the lever, then you can fail your test on it. So make sure you know where all the levers and the switches are in your car before you go out on your test, and just practice them over and over again. Okay, when it's safe to do so, can you show me how you'd wash and clean the rear windscreen? So just like the indicator stick on the left side, I've got a stick on the right hand side which operates all of the windscreen washers and wipers, and if you push that away from you, it washes the back windscreen, and then just reset it in the middle, and that stops the wiper from continuously going. Okay, when it's safe to do so, can you show me how you wash and clean the front windscreen? So the same stick on the right hand side, so you're just going to leave that towards you, so pull it towards the steering wheel, and that's going to wash the front windscreen for you. You don't have to reset that one, it just automatically resets in the middle. When it's safe to do so, can you show me how you switch on your dipped headlights? So these are on just underneath the air vent on the right hand side, and it's the far right hand button. It says auto, and it's the dipped headlights. And on the screen on the dashboard, you're going to see it going through the different options. If you're stationary, it's going to have the side light option as well coming up, but basically it says side lights switch off, and then it says auto, and the auto means that they're switched on. As you're driving along, you won't have the side light option coming up. When it's safe to do so, can you show me how you'd set the rear demister? Nice easy one for you. So it's just one single button. You see the one there, it's a rectangle, and you just press that on, and then you just press it off once you're finished with it. When it's safe to do so, can you show me how you'd operate the horn? Again, a nice easy one for you. You're just going to press the middle of the steering wheel. You can see the horn pictures there. Just going to press it, and that operates the horn. When it's safe to do so, can you show me how you demist the front windscreen? So this one's slightly different to the rear one. You've got three switches you have to turn. So you've got your right hand switch here. It needs to be on the front windscreen. As you can see, it's on there. The middle one is to have the air coming out, and the one on the left is the heat. So you need to turn all of those, as you can see. And then once they say you can turn that off now, up to the middle with that, and then to the one position for that, and then you can leave the one on the right. When it's safe to do so, can you show me how you'd open and close the side window? So basically you've got all four windows in your door here. So this is the left front window, and then you've got them as people are seated in the car. You're just going to push that down towards the ground, and then if you want to shut it again, you're just going to pull that back up again. Thank you for watching today. Remember, practice, know where the buttons and levers are, watch your speed, keep control of your steering, and above all the best for your test. I hope it goes really well. Thank you for watching.